I'm going to do a real quick video here on how to fix hotspots, a particular mod that I've actually not used yet, in all honesty, but something that I wanted to use for a while. And it was in 17, it's now in 19 using the global company script, but the hotspot's a little bit broken on it from what I understand. So I'm just going to kind of try and show you how to fix that. So if I go into the easy dev controls here, we'll buy all the land just so that makes it easier to place. We go into the store, global company animal, and it's the global company animal GEA store. So if we buy this, and we'll just basically put it down somewhere like that. And everything looks great, fantastic, it all works, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to use the hotspot to actually teleport to it, when you do so, you end up getting stuck inside a wall, which obviously is not really much use to anybody. And I don't actually have any other vehicles because I'm in farm manager mode, so the only one that's on here is the train. So now I've tabbed out and gone into the train, which is of no use to me whatsoever. So now I've got to try and find my way all back over here again. Now, theoretically, I would have other vehicles if I was getting to that part in the game, buying animals and whatever else, I would have vehicles. But theoretically, unless I was doing lots of missions and just borrowing the videos. But point being, you're stuck in a wall, so, you know, that's, like I say, no good to nobody. So what we're going to do is just have a look at that and see what we can do to fix it. So I'll save it just so I don't have to go through the process of buying all the land again and buying the unit. Because it's a placeable, every time we load the game, the XML will be read and any changes, or at least most changes, will be updated and added in. So first of all, we need to extract the actual zip file. So FS19 global company placeable animal feeding GEA. So right click 7-zip if you're using 7-zip, extract to, and then the folder name. Fantastic. I would recommend to delete this one because when you restart the game, if you've got this still unzipped, because you think, well, I'll leave it unzipped, and if I need to make any changes, it will be unzipped, but you've got the zipped version still in your folder, the game will always prioritize the zipped version over the unzipped version. So you'll end up getting into this weird kind of circle of death where you don't know if you fixed it or not, because you've made the appropriate changes, but it's still getting you stuck in a wall, and that's because it's always going to revert to the zipped version. So just get rid of that and then make your changes and re-zip it once you're happy that everything is fixed, and then delete the actual unzipped version and so on. But we'll go through that. So we're going to open up the husbandry cow GEA i3D, and by default, as far as I'm aware, the main group, main component, main transform group is what will be used by default as the hotspot. And as you can see here, when we click on the main component here, it is smack dab in the middle of this wall. So that's where the problem lies. Now we can get over this by creating a new hotspot. So we're just going to expand this out and we're going to create a new one. So we're going to go create transform group, select it, Control X to cut it, click on the main transform group here, Control V so it becomes part of the hierarchy. Then we're going to name it, so you can call it whatever you want. We'll just call it hotspot. There we go, something like that. And then we need to take a note of the actual index path. So this is 015. If we come back into here again and open up the XML for this particular unit, and this does contain various different parts, so just make sure that you're selecting the right XML. In this case, again, like I say, it's the husbandry cow GEA XML, so we'll open that one up. If we scroll down a ways, you can see we have our hotspot information with the name, the actual L10N, and so on and so on. But there's no information here to kind of give us any movement on that. Like it did in previous versions, you could change where things were located by adding in different coordinates and whatever else. We can do the same kind of thing, but it has to be linked to a specific part in the scene graph here, which is why we've created this new transform group. So what we're going to do here is just somewhere in amongst all of this, we'll add in some extra information, just so, you know, click somewhere in there and we'll type it in. So link node equals, quote, and then inside the quotes we need to put our information. Now you can't use the vehicle index path set up, so I can't just copy this and then paste it into there like that, because it won't work. It will cause an error and it will come up and say you cannot use vehicle indexing on a placeable or something along those lines. So we have to use this up and straight arrow, a straight line or whatever it is. I keep calling it an arrow. This straight line, whatever that is. No idea. Break point, I don't know. So if we get rid of the greater than sign here, between your left shift key and your Z key or Z key, if you hold down left shift and then press that button, you will get this straight up and down line. And that's all you need to do. That's it. It's now going to link to that particular part here with the index path. Calls it nodes in the XML, but index paths in the Giants editor gets very confusing. But that's what you need to do. Just add that into there. We can now save this and close it. We can save our changes here, but make sure that you obviously drag it away from the wall before you come out, so because otherwise you'll still end up in the wall. So find a spot that you want to spawn to, somewhere there will be fine, nice open area, and then go ahead and save it like so. Close all that down, and then I would leave it unzipped for now, just to make sure that everything is working okay, so we can then open it back up in game and test it out. Fairly confident it'll work. So we'll go back into our save game here, and then yeah, test it out. So hopefully we will no longer be spawning inside a wall. So still there where I put it before. Escape, click on our icon, press space, and now we are outside where I placed that new hotspot. Fantastic. So, you know, if you're working on a big 16x map or whatever else, and you are right across the other side of the map, and you want to, you know, teleport to this, you're no longer going to get stuck in walls and have to have some kind of vehicle nearby to tab into. So, you know, that's pretty straightforward, easy fix. And then once you're happy with everything that's, you know, everything's working, and you've checked your error log, make sure there's no errors and things like that you may have created, you shouldn't have done. If you've done everything like I just showed there, you can come back in here, Control A, right click, 7-zip, and then zip it all back up again, assuming you are using 7-zip. If you're using WinRAR or something like that, the process is very similar. And then just highlight the zip file, Control X, go back into your mods folder, Control V, and delete this one. And that is it. That's all you need to do. You're good to go after that. You should have no more problems spawning into walls.